What's going on, everybody? It's be your boy
DJ Anonymous.
DJ Anonymous with another episode of Sports Biz Music, the podcast. And I have a very special guest on the show tonight with us. I have Charles Gellman, CEO of Hido Health. How you doing today?
Doing great. How's your night going?
It's going okay. Kind of slow. Kind of waiting for football season and stuff. You know, it's only baseball and everything. So I'm just, keeping it easy until football season start. How are you doing?
Doing good. Just enjoying some of this beautiful California weather.
Okay, you out in California. Okay.
Yep.
I've been there. What you about to say? I'm sorry.
I was going to say we're based out of Northern California, a little bit outside of Sacramento.
Okay, so is all that still considered the Bay Area or no? Because I heard different.
Yeah, so it's a little bit outside of the Bay Area. The Bay Area is usually within about an hour of the San Francisco proper area. So we're a little bit outside of that, but go back and forth.
Okay, and so before we get into the interview and the conversation and everything, introduce yourself to the listeners.
Yeah, so my name is Charles Gellman, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hido Health. Hido is an acronym for Health Information Data Outcomes. My background's in data science, so I finished up school at UC Davis Medical Center in clinical informatics and just really involved in AI, pushing data science together to help improve patient lives. So that is my focus.
Okay, and what made you want to get into health? Like growing up?
So I actually repeat that question.
I'm saying, what made you want to get into health? Like growing up, like what was it that made you want to get into health?
Yeah, so I never had an intention of getting into health. I actually started in finance, and my career trajectory was really in banking. And then my views altered after the financial crisis was taking place. And then I decided to take a step back and then focus my efforts on ways that I thought that I could help improve other people's lives. So that's when my journey really started to change into a different trajectory, which altered the course of my life and my focus and my work.
Okay. And before we get into your company and the goals and everything that you want to achieve with your company and the mission, talk to us about a little bit about your previous career.
Yeah, so I started off in the finance area, and I was thinking about heading down the banking route, and then I actually had a health scare where I had a problem where it was a misdiagnosed appendicitis, and ended up staying some time in the hospital. And by having that type of experience, it led me down a different path. And then I started to slowly, get into healthcare. I started in the pharmaceutical arena. So I started with a company called Johnson & Johnson. Then I worked my way into medical devices and medical software. So my career culminated in a variety of different experiences, which exposed me to different parts of the healthcare environment and the healthcare scene.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense because, when it's rare when you see, someone go from finance and then slowly go into in the health / medical field. So that's, it's very rare, but with your story, it all makes sense. So
yeah, I think when you have an experience where you almost lose your life, it makes you recalibrate what your priorities are.
Yeah, it's like I said before we started recording, my grandma, she had a stroke. Well, she had 3 strokes. She had the first 2, it knocked her down, but she was still able to talk. She was still able to, communicate with us. But then she had a 3rd one, and it knocked her down completely. Like she pretty much had machines. She had to pretty much depend on machines and everything. And then same with my granddad, but he had Alzheimer's. But later I found out that, he also had cancer. And what I learned growing up is that, well, not growing up, but the last few years is that when people go through chemo, if they have cancer, 9 to 10 times, because of, I guess, because of the machines, when they go through chemo 9 to 10 times later on in life, it could cause like Alzheimer's and memory loss. So with him, I think with him was like the most like time where I actually seen someone be, great, and then just by the years just go down in health. And sometimes I think about that, like not necessarily be a caregiver, but have like one day, like either own a company that dedicates to the elderly, especially the elderly that deals with Alzheimer's, because that's something that's, if you a caregiver and you dealt with someone with Alzheimer's, it's a lot. So
it is. It is. It's really challenging for a lot of family. There's millions of people that are having to support folks with memory impairment or have diagnosed or undiagnosed dementia or Alzheimer's. And coincidentally enough, we're actually focused on NIH-funded research with Rush University studying dementia patients. Mm-hmm. And my particular company, Hydo, what it specializes in is AI-assisted robotics for those folks. Mm-hmm. So instead of having to be fully dependent on caregivers, we are able to use a device to help folks that have memory issues support themselves with some independence and freedom, whereas before they're fully reliant on others. So it does make a big difference just having some assisted technologies at home where they're not fully dependent on caregivers.
Yes, and I was looking at the video too, and let's talk about how though, like you talked about a little bit how you went in the health field from finance, and you created the company because of what you went through, the scare you went through. Go more in detail, like why even the name Haru, what was the story behind all that?
Yeah, I'll take you back a little bit. I started my career in finance, and then I almost lost my life. So I spent a couple weeks in the ICU. I have a pretty remarkable scar from the bottom of my abdomen to my chest, and just thankful and grateful to be here and hopefully be able to touch people. But the Hydo name comes from the acronym Health Information Data Outcomes, and what that means is we're trying to figure out the blueprint for health. So based upon the data, there's 3 primary inputs that you have, or that most people can't control. 1 is health and diet. 2 is exercise, and the third lever is medications. Now, the first 2, diet and exercise, are remarkably challenging for the majority of the public. And most people, go on that roller coaster ride up and down, and very few can control that, the way that it needs in order to ensure that you have good health. Right. So that basically means that 90% of the folks out there are subject to taking medications. So if you're subject to taking medications, my goal is to ensure that you're taking the least amount of medications and you have the best amount of health outcomes possible. So that's the goal of the company, and that's what we're after.
It's something that I never even thought of. Like, I wish I had this, years ago. I wish my mom, had this years ago, because, you look back at where, like, I remember I was always around my mom and my grandparents. They had to have medication, had to go to the doctor, then she had to go to, Walgreens, Walmart, CVS to get the medications, had to have I forgot the name of it, but it like divides all the different medications for the morning, afternoon, the evening. And when I was watching the video and how y'all have the machine, it's pretty much like it's like automatic. Like, it not only helps the caregiver, but also helps the patient as well, especially if they're able to, move and be able to, walk around and everything. And it's just like, it's remarkable. And we in the day and age with AI, it's remarkable, and it's something that, for a person myself, how can I I guess get into the program, or purchase the equipment? How does this
Yeah.
all work?
So this is provided by your health plan right
Okay.
now. And so the health plan goes through and figures out who needs the assisted support.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're interested in using something like this or device such as this, then contact your health plan and ask them about Hido. And the health plan can reach out to us. We have a contact us page on Hido Health, and we'd be more than happy to help support their efforts. But to going down and to touching people, we talked about before this call, you spoke about Anthony and Helen, and, he had a massive stroke and was in a wheelchair and has limited mobility. And, this technology, this AI assisted robotic technology helps automate the process so people have independence and freedom. Whereas right now they're solely dependent on caregivers. And that type of feeling that they have by being able to do something on their own and not be fully dependent is remarkable to people's self-esteem, their mental health, and their overall sense of living. And whatever we can do to help people thrive at home without having to feel like they're a burden on other people, that's the purpose of Hido.
Yes, because when Helen was saying that, I kind of felt emotional because, especially when I was taking care of my granddad, I felt that too. I know my mom felt that way because me and her used to have conversations because we were the main two. And then even my wife, when she was helping with her grandfather, her and her dad went through the same situation. And sometimes, they hit it's a breakdown, it's a tears, it's like it's mixed emotions, but what you are doing is going to change the game a lot for everyone. It's going to benefit a lot of people. Even when you first reached out to me, it's something different, especially for my podcast, but at the end of the day, mine is, it's business. And, for me, it's just, it's like, it's like something new, something fresh, and something that a lot of us in this world could relate to. Even, victims, like you went through a scare. I know plenty of people who went through different scares or went through different things, and, they can't really do much. So for something like this, it's, like I said before, like it's incredible, and it's the future. Because we talking about AI, we talking about technology, and 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now, as it, even advance even more, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot more, within your company.
Yeah, I think when people talk about AI right now, they're looking at chatbots and they're looking at software applications.
Yeah.
But AI can do a lot more. But you have to have a piece of hardware and a piece of software come together in order to impact folks. And what you're seeing right now is a bunch of different software applications, and it's cool because you can do some pretty nice things. But ultimately, what people need is depends upon the applications, but, it'd be cool to have, self-driving car. But what would be really cool is if, people at home don't need to be concerned about all these complex medication regimens and it's fully automated and their health can be, instead of focusing on all these different medications and undertaking them or overdosing them or not taking them all, they can just focus on themselves and their family and enjoying their moments, their memories in their life versus, trying to figure out, what to do and where to go and all these other complications.
Yes, and you're right. And, we live in a time where we have multiple generations. Me, I'm a millennial, 31 years old. So then you got the kids behind me, they centennials. But then, like with me, I always tell people all the time as a millennial, I still know about the traditional ways with the older generation. And even though, I have aunts and uncles that's on social media all the time and everything, they have the iPhones and stuff and this and that. But at the end of the day, they still like to have hands-on. They still like to have the hardware, it's not, we not there yet when it comes fully software and everything, like you was just talking about with the AI, with the chat GP and all that stuff. Like,
Hmm.
it is very important to still have hardware because of a sector of a an industry with health, because every day something happens with us, and God forbid, like, something even worse happened to us, where we can't not just develop on the automotive, develop on all these other industries. Let's continue to develop with the health industry, so that we all can continue to stay safe, stay organized with health, with our health. Because even when you talked about earlier, how it even helps with, like, staying healthy, the diet plans and everything. Like, for me myself, I'm still young, 31 years old, but sometimes, like, I get kind of like, I kind of fight it, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, once again, to have something like this is incredible, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah, for us, I mean, our goal is to keep you on point.
Right.
So, the folks that struggle, there's many millions of people that struggle with cardiovascular disease, obesity, diabetes. I mean, you're talking about 30 million plus people across the United States. So over 10% of the population, struggles with this. So this is not something that's isolated. And then you start looking at other different types of disease states. You're looking at a third of the population, 100 million plus people that struggle with daily choices. So if there's a way to help assist people and help aid them in making better choices, you don't need to make, perfect choices all the time, but maybe you look at healthier eating options, or you notice that you should, instead of sitting at a desk all day for 8 hours, you kind of get up and you move around because it's good for you, and it could potentially keep you out of the hospital. And maybe you're taking a couple different medications instead of 8 because you weren't taking those 8 medications the correct way.
Right.
And your physicians and your nurses, they don't know exactly what to prescribe. What they do is they ask patients what they're taking, how often they're taking, and it's based upon that conversation that happens. And they also look at lab work. So physicians, they're doing things based upon those communications that occur within a sterile environment, the clinic or the hospital. Mm-hmm. But most folks spend 99.9% of their time at home. But you can't, I mean, I don't know if you can recall what you ate 3 weeks ago in the morning, but we're asking people to remember what they're doing over the last 3 months that have memory issues. So, it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I have to remind myself that, I'm getting older. So, and to go back to, like, the Alzheimer's and everything, like, I remember a doctor even told me that, I had to be careful with that because, it's very, it's, what's the word? It is genetic in a way. Cause his mom, my great grandma, she had it too. So it's like, like I said earlier, like, it's just, we just never know. And I've heard cases where it happens earlier. So to have something like this, is great for the future. And also, I have a question. So,
Sure.
We know it's a copycat, world. When one company come up with something, another company come up with it. Have any other like companies reached out to you, or any other, even hospitals reached out to you about not only your product but trying to make something similar to it, but give you like credit or something? Like, have you like dealt with that?
Yeah, so we have a patent on our system design and architecture, and we have another patent that's pending on the way that we push out, this specific type of technology. So what's unique about the HIDO device is it completely automates the process and has a full tracking of chain of custody of medication. So from pharmacy distribution to a patient receiving the medication to the device actually tracking the patient taking the medication soup to nuts. And there's a lot of engineering that makes it easy for patients. So white labeling our device right now, that's something that we're open to. And our goal is to get this technology out to as many patients that are in need of this technology as possible. So that's where we're at.
Okay. And then the last question is, where do you see yourself and your company, I want to say 15 to 20 years from now?
Well, the goal is to have millions of these units out.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's with a large distribution channel like a McKesson or a Johnson & Johnson, or it could be Google or Amazon,
Right.
there's major players in the industry that have the infrastructure and distribution in order to make that reality possible. And ultimately, the larger the company distribution and channels are, the faster this technology will get out to the people in need. So I can see this technology being in every single home, similar like a microwave or a TV, where people no longer have to sift and organize and remember what to take, why to take it, and the names of the medications, and if they took it. I think all of that could be automated, so people no longer have to struggle with a lot of these challenges currently.
Yes, because like I keep saying, like this is something. I'm gonna use sports as an example because I love sports a lot. It's like we have underrated players, we have overrated players, we have the GOATs, we have the best players right now, and what you're doing right now is very unappreciated because it's like people want. They want new phones every 6 months. They want the new shoes. They want the new houses, the new upgrades and stuff. They want all these companies want something outside the health industry, and for this very innovative move is something that it really should allow all of us just to sit back and be like, what, you just never know. And it's something that we should look into, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I appreciate you, sharing this, this innovation, device, this company, and I'd love to have you back on the show. But also too, like if anything that you need, just let me know.
I appreciate it. I mean, I think that there's a lot of good that we can do, and using the sports examples. Our main interest was nutrition and supplements, and enhancing athletic performance. And just starting to look at athletic performance, you can quickly realize that the benefits to the masses are just absolutely substantial and tremendous with something like this. So if any of your listeners want to learn more, go to hidohealth.com, or you can post a link on the podcast, and maybe we can push a video of Anthony and Helen out for people to actually see some of these stories and how it's touched their life.
Oh yeah, of course. Like I said, anything that you want me to do on my end, just let me know, because it's, this at first when you reached out to me, I was like, of course I want you on the show. This is, at the end of the day, it's business. It's kind of like it's dealing with health. So you was like pretty much the first one. Well, not the first. Well, yeah, you are the first one, because I had someone that came in for health and fitness. But to strictly come in to bringing technology and bringing the medical field, the health field together. It was something that was very different. And when I did more research into it, I said, "Yeah, I have to have you on the show for sure, because it's a lot of us need this. We need to learn about this, because this is the future too as well."
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you having me on the show, and if there's anything I can do in the future, just let me know, and we'd be happy to jump on again several months down the line and update you on what we're working on and how many lives we're impacting.
Yes, of course. Keep me updated with everything. Keep me up on your if you have any other interviews, you have any articles, you have my LinkedIn and everything. You have my number.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for coming on the show. You have any other shout outs again? Any other, information that you want to give out to listeners again before we officially
if anyone's interested in looking at the website, hidohealth.com, there's plenty of information on YouTube. Just search Hido Health. and then we continue to post content of stories and lives that we're touching. And we got a documentary on there, so it talks soup to nuts. The device, the patient that it's impacted, and it talks a little bit more about the technology and the impact on people. So if you're interested to learn more, there's plenty of content out there.
Yes, please. And we're going to close that out on that. And please, everybody, please, look into that. But it's been your boy,
DJ
Anonymous, with another episode of Sports Biz Music, the podcast with Charles, and we out. Peace.